I will literally leave the studio thinking, oh my Lord, I have no idea where I parked because I was not concentrating. I was writing a text, I was listening to music, I was talking to a friend when I was leaving the car. And I'm like looking around thinking, that was the other day. What memory can I spark back to remember where I walked? And of course, I will always eventually find my car. But now I even know in parking centres, I will be taking photos left, right, and centre. Like, okay, level 2, number 5. And then even sometimes if I'm in the city and it's not a parking place, I normally go, I like do a street sign, everything, because I'm thinking I've had it before where I've been for hours not being able to find my car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with taking those pictures,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's actually a success that you've now become mindful of this is something
Yes.
that you tend to forget, and you're taking strategies that work. And so this is exactly what you should be doing. And the kinds
Mm.
of problems that we have with memory tend to be exactly those scenarios. Like it's not, I don't remember where I parked my car. It's more like I don't remember where I parked my car today,
Mm.
because you've parked your car so many places over so many days that you have all these memories that are kind of alike. Now you parked your car, but on top of it, you were checking your phone and you were thinking about things that you have to do, and you're late for a meeting. And so your mind isn't even on where you're walking. You're not even thinking about it. You're just sort of mindlessly walking. And so you have this very blurry memory of where you parked your car because you weren't really processing information about where you parked your car. You weren't mindful of your surroundings, so forth. Plus, when we switch attention between different things, like I park, I look at my phone, then I start walking, then I look at my phone. Every one of those switches fragments these memories, so that rather than getting one memory of walking from your car back to the office, you have a bunch of little fragments of I was here, then I was on my phone, then I was here, then I was on my phone. And so that's another problem that we have.
This is so true because I think so many times in our lives, everyone will have the thought, "Do I have like dementia?" or something like that, because you're like, "What is going on?" And then you realize
Yeah.
it is the fact that, especially when we're busy, when we're stressed, so much is going on that we can be so on top of, say, for me, I'll be unbelievably on top of everything that's going on at work, bang, bang, bang. But then when it comes to my kids, I'm like, oh, I completely forgot they had that birthday party, or, something will have to give when you do have a mind that is going with so many different things.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, modern life conspires against us, is what I
Yeah.
tend to think. It's very hard to be in the moment and focus on the distinctive parts of the moment that will give you a rich memory, because there's so much in modern life that keeps us away from what we're actually doing at a given time.
What are some strategies to be able to remember people's names, especially if we're meeting them for the first time? Because I find I'm probably too much concentrating on what I'm going to say or whatever environment I'm in that it has to be a couple of times that their name's said. Otherwise, I won't probably take it in the first time.
Well, one strategy I would say is that to plant cues. That's my general strategy for many different kinds of memories. What I mean by that is when you're trying to remember something, you go through the search in memory, and that search is very, you start to say, well, wait, where did I meet this person? What was I thinking about? Blah, blah, blah. And that's very effortful. It's tiring and it's error prone. It's just a matter of trial and error. What's a lot easier if there's a reminder right in front of you. So we talked
Mm.
about this idea of like you hear a song and it brings back memory, right? So maybe if there's something about this person's appearance that you can tie to the name, that's a good strategy for being able to recall the name, right? So, and sometimes it doesn't even have to be too great. It could be just something that's like, it could be something that's ties together who they are, right? So it's like this person has shifty eyes and you know they're a car salesman or something. And so it ties into your stereotype of what car salesmen are like. And and maybe you come up with some nickname for this person that's kind of like, Sleazy Sam or something. I feel bad. Car salesman out there. It's a very tough job. I know. Somebody told me it's the worst job he ever had. So I don't mean to say any bad things about car salesmen, but the basic idea would be you allow some fact about some attribute of a person's face
Mm,
or something about the context in which you would see them in, and you tie that into the name. So you have something that links the two so that it's like, I see this person. I'm like, oh yeah, that big nose looks kind of familiar. Oh, that's
mm.
Neil, nosy Neil, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's really interesting and very helpful. How come sometimes when when you're with someone that you know and you're trying to remember something and it's like you'll be like, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. I know it's there. I know it's there. I can feel that the memory's there. And then other times, like, nah, that memory ain't there. Like, I feel like there's a lot of work that's going to be done to get that back. But sometimes it's like it's a B name or it's something that we know is kind of sitting there ready to be accessed, but not quite there. And then like 3 hours later, when we're in the supermarket, we'll be like, it was Brenda. It was Brenda. That's who we were trying to
Mm-hmm.
remember. What's going on when that happens?
Well, there's a bunch of things that go on, but one big one is that memories compete with each other, right? So you're trying to think of Brenda, but you've got all these other people. It could be that that name Brenda was tied to a number of different things. There's a song by the John Spencer Blues Explosion called Brenda. There's like all these Brenda associations. And then there's all these other names of people that you've met in the same kind of context, right? So other people who work with Brenda, you might know, or friends, people in Brenda's social circle. So there's all these little competing associations in memory. And names are particularly hard because names have nothing to do with faces. They have nothing to do with identities. They're very arbitrary, right? I mean, there was once upon a time, I suppose, if your name was Miller, you go to that person and they would mill flour for you or something. But
Mm,
now it's just like they're completely meaningless names, right? I mean, the name Sarah doesn't tell me anything about what you look like. It doesn't tell
mm,
me anything about your history, your job, nothing, right? So what can often happen is we're searching and we find the wrong name, and we think of the wrong mental context, we think of the wrong occupation, we think of something that sends us in the wrong direction, but now we've activated the wrong memories, and the wrong memories are just shutting down the right memory that we're looking for.